In this video, we're going to talk about the absolute best way to build your brand.
How'd you do that?
I see that success is not something you pursue, it is something you are.
You've heard it a million times, build your brand, build your brand, build your brand. But we're going to talk about the absolute best way to build your brand, because one of the things I noticed with a lot of speakers, speakers especially, is they try to copy me. I'm like, dude, come on now. You can't copy the Bruce. But a lot of speakers, they try to copy what I do. And they put on their website infotainment, they copy the text on my website, they copy the pictures and everything on my website. Now, originally, I got mad. I was like, what the, dude, do you want to get pimp slapped? That was my first reaction. But then I said, it's literally like trying to copy someone's personality. It just doesn't work. Think about how many people tried to copy Tony Robbins. How many people tried to copy him? His presentation, like word for word. I've seen people do it word for word, and they try to copy his brand. They try to copy everything. Like, oh, I do NLP, all this stuff. They tried to copy Tony Robbins. Think about how many people tried to copy him. It was a lot. Now, think about how many of them do you know of? How many of them have you heard about? Probably none. And the reason is because they tried to copy the wrong things. On the other hand, you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, you know who Les Brown is, you know who Jim Rohn is, you know who Brian Tracy is. You know these guys, and these guys have completely different styles, completely different personalities. They're all different on stage from someone like Tony Robbins, even though Jim Rohn came before Tony Robbins, but still, you get what I'm saying. And the whole thing is, someone who tries to copy is a mediocre version of the person they copied. And so you got to think along the lines of, you attract what you are. That's what your brand is going to be. You attract what you are. What do you want to be known for? And then you deliver your style in terms of doing it that way. You attract what you are. And it's not what you speak about. You can speak about the same thing as all these other guys. It's more of the style and how you actually do it. Les Brown tells a lot of stories. Gary Vaynerchuk, he's like in your face and let's go at it. Benji Bruce, he's just a freaking genius. Tony Robbins, he connects really easily with everybody. And so you got to think, man, I say the most ridiculous stuff. You got to think along the lines of what do you want to be known for, and you attract who you are, not what you want. So one of the reasons why I try to be extremely practical, and I don't do this woo-woo stuff of, just sit down and believe and it's going to come to you, believe. One of the reasons why I make fun of that stuff, and one of the reasons why I don't do that, is because I want to get those people away from me. What I realize is that those people are usually the worst business people. Those type of people in La La Land and woo-woo world, they're like the worst business people because they're not practical at all. On the other hand, the people who teach it, those are extremely practical mofos, like extremely practical. And that's what people don't understand. But we're getting away from the whole topic. But basically, I think in terms of who am I think, okay, I'm extremely practical, extremely analytical in terms of the steps, extremely strategic. Those are the people that I attract because that's who I am. And that's how you have to think when it comes to your brand. You don't want to copy someone's brand, someone's personality. What you do copy, though, is you copy their process. So instead of someone copying like, infotainer, they put all that stuff on their website because they can't really copy that. Instead of copying that, you copy the process. You're like, how does he find events? How does he contact events? How does he pitch events? How does he build his website to where it's a celebrity type of image? How does he do that? That's what you copy. You don't copy like, he has an image set up like this on his website with some text. Let me just do that. He has his hand like this. Let me do that as well. That doesn't work. I have built my brand in a way where it is really hard to copy what I do. And then what needs to be copied are the things that actually produce me the results, not what people see. Nobody can see the CRM system that I've set up. Nobody can see that. And nobody can see the prospecting system that I've set up. Nobody sees that. Nobody sees how many people I contact every day. Nobody sees the systems that I have set up in my business. All people see are videos like this. They see the website and then they say, let me copy that. Well, guess what? That thing isn't the thing that actually makes me the money. That thing is just the personality. It is the outer layer of what I do. And that's what people need to understand. And when you build your brand, you do not copy. Instead, what you do, you think about what's your strength. What are you good at? Like, what do you want to over exaggerate? And that's what you do. It's not just what is my strength. When you are building your brand, you over exaggerate it. So if you are a funny person, you're comedic or whatever, that's the brand you want to build. You say, I'm going to build a brand around comedy. I'm going to be the funny guy in the room. You over exaggerate it on your website. It's all about humor. And everyone on the website is like, and so you over exaggerate all that stuff on your website. If it's really intense, like if that's your style, then on your website, you have pictures of you just like, and you over exaggerate. Think just like how celebrities are. Celebrities, they over exaggerate their brand. Think about Lady Gaga. She has this like weird brand going on. And so she over exaggerates it. And that's what grabs her attention. That's what grabs everyone else's attention. Celebrities are actually a perfect example of this because celebrities, they always take the one thing that makes them different and they emphasize it. They emphasize it out of proportion. The more normal you are, the less people pay attention. And so you have to think, okay, what's normal? Let me make sure I'm not that. That's why, like on these videos, I always make fun of like how brilliant I am, even though I am brilliant, but I always just make fun of that just because I find sarcasm very interesting. I got to entertain myself. Like I'm sitting here all by myself. I'm used to entertaining in front of a huge crowd and I'm making this video and I got to entertain myself. So I'm just very sarcastic in these videos because I find it funny. I don't care if people find it funny as they watch this. I don't care if people like that dude is arrogant. I can't help it that I'm smart. I can't help it that I'm a genius. It's just how I am. And so I have no idea why I just went off on that tangent. But what I essentially do is you figure out what's the thing that you want to emphasize? What's the thing that your strength is? And then you emphasize it, you overemphasize it. And sometimes you can completely manufacture your brand out of nothing. So this is why celebrities are different in person versus like what you see on stage, because what they did is they manufactured their brand. They said, okay, here's the thing that's going to grab people's attention, like all this weird stuff. And let's throw that in there. Let's overemphasize this thing. And bam, we now have a celebrity. And they overemphasize all that. And then in person, they're just normal. And so, it works. I'm not saying it doesn't work. A lot of people say be authentic and all that. But, obviously it works with celebrities. It just comes down to grabbing attention. And what gets people's attention are things that aren't normal. And when I hear be authentic, what people tend to say is like, be normal, like be you. Sometimes being you doesn't actually work. Sometimes being you may be too boring to actually get any attention and actually get the business. So sometimes you got to create this personality. You got to create this thing, this version of you that you want to be that's going to get you the results. And I love the Tony Robbins documentary on Netflix. The Date with Destiny documentary. At the beginning of the documentary, Tony Robbins, he says this. He's like, I created the mofo Tony Robbins. I created this guy. And that's what he's talking about. He's saying, I knew that in order for me to build this Tony Robbins brand, I had to be the most confident guy in the world. And at the time, maybe I wasn't confident. So I built this named Tony Robbins. I said, this Tony Robbins is going to be the most confident guy ever. And he stepped into that person and he created the brand. He manufactured it out of nothing. And so a lot of people say, oh, be authentic. Sometimes being authentic means you're just boring as all hell. So sometimes being authentic doesn't work. And then when it comes to your brand, you got to think along the lines of repetition. If you want people to think about your brand, you repeat it. So this is why I wear purple all the time. I'm like, dude, I'm wearing purple all the time. Like, it looks good on me. I gotta wear purple all the time. And it's why I talk about my mentalism. It's why I do all the mind reading stuff in my presentations. It's because you always think, what is your brand and you repeat it over and over and over. You keep reminding people over and over and over. And that's how a brand is built inside of the minds of everybody around you. So that's essentially the best way to build a brand. And if you copy me, I'm going to pimp slap you.